What's up, guys? Bright and early. It's about 5:32 in the morning. We're getting ready to go meet up with Iman, get a morning workout in with his trainer. I didn't exactly get the best sleep quality today. As you can see, I fell asleep at like 3:30 and I woke up at 5 with a whopping 32% sleep quality rating. Big day planned with Iman, starting out with a workout. Let's go wake up Norbert. I can hear his alarm. Norbs, you ready to roll, bro?
Yes. No, yes.
Yes. It is go time for showtime. Norbert, did you get any sleep last night, bro?
Yep. 2 hours.
There you go. That's all you need. That's how I get prepared for the interviews. I have my assistant pull up the profile, and then I look at it for like 20 minutes the day of the interview.
Yeah, and then we just wing it.
And then I just roll with it, and it works. Something. Where are we going? Yo.
Good morning.
The man child, the myth, the legend.
What's up, dude?
Boom. Yo.
Oh my god.
Is that your meals outside?
Yeah, those are my meals.
There they are. We were like, is that his dinner?
You guys are the most organized.
This is it. So this is an 18-year-old's apartment here in London. I gotta say, when I was 18, I was in a tiny, shitty little dorm room at Oregon State University, not making any money. More so living off my dad's child support. My mom was doing a little bit better than I was. This is the modern day human these days.
The funniest thing is I get my food delivered every day and I literally never have it. I'll always have like a dinner meeting or something like that. And then like by lunch, I've just like woken up in the morning and I've done so much work and stuff like that. I want to reward myself with like some like Uber Eats or something like that. Like even if it's healthy, I just want to order like a poke bowl or something like that. So I get this delivered every day. I actually, there's not been one day I finished everything.
Yeah, I always had leftovers when I was meal prepping in San Diego.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
All right, sparkling water, Fiji water, Cliff bars. What do you guys want?
Is this like a LaCroix?
Kombucha?
LaCroix wannabe.
Yeah, we don't have LaCroix here.
LaCroix. I'll do a fake LaCroix.
Yeah, I'm a fake. You guessed. Yeah.
Yo.
Oh, stop.
Billy Harris Fitness in the house.
More. There it is today. Oh, nice.
What's up, dude?
Oh, yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice
All
to meet
good?
you,
Nice to meet you.
This is my personal trainer, Billy.
Nice, how's it going?
Yeah. What are we doing today at the gym?
So
Chest and back session.
Chest and back.
Push and pull.
Back. I just
Push and
did
pull
chest
session.
yesterday, so that's great.
Oh, nice, perfect. It's gonna be interesting then.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So this is a normal routine. I've been trying out 6:30 recently, but usually it's 5:30. So 5:30 I wake up. Billy's here for 5:45. Yeah. He comes in with that stupid bag, the food that I never actually eat.
But you should be eating that one. Yeah.
Yeah. He comes in, puts it in my fridge. We get an Uber. Oh yeah, that reminds me. We need to get an Uber, and we go to the gym and we train. And I train like super hard, right, Billy?
He does indeed, every day, with no complaining. Especially on a leg day, It's kind of in zombie mode, he kind of slurs his words.
Even Billy said it, like Billy had this impression of me that I was like super like robotic, like focused, stuff like that. And just like super disciplined and stuff like that. And then like he became my personal trainer. And he's seen a side to me where like I'm like, Billy, no.
Yeah. I always see your Instagram stories in the morning trying to wake your girlfriend up. She's just like,
He's just awake, he's not much better. He's basically the same, yeah.
The sun is still not shining. Good time. Gym's in the mall, alright, here we go.
Then like you finish up your workout, you can go to like Starbucks, Pret, you can go get some like groceries, you can get some Nando's. Have you had Nando's? Have you had a cheeky Nando's yet? You haven't had a cheeky Nando's.
You've never had a cheeky Nando's?
What's a cheeky
Nando's?
Nando's?
Oh my god. You've never had a cheeky Nando's? Yeah. Jesus, it's like a rite of passage.
I dare you play your cards, boy, you bet I'm a trendsetter too. Fire when the strobe hits you.
That's it, Brian?
Yes. Bet you're looking for something new. Staring up across the room. Bet I'm a trendsetter too. Bulletproof on another level ahead of the crew. Select never settles. It only gets better the more you see. Powerful and free. Confidence is key. So watch me figure it out.
All right, just wrapped up my first Billy Harris Fitness Club pump with Iman. Awesome, dude. Thanks a lot, brother. Yeah, it was great. I'm gonna go grab some grub. Whew, gotta fuel these bodies. Let's go.
Holy, I can't even see your face in that thing, bro.
Legit, sometimes I'll do this, like in December in London. Before I had Billy, when I used to like go to the gym on my own, I'd be like
just walking down the street. At least the light's coming out now, other than probably standard London weather.
All right, guys, we're going to get a little breakfast. Iman, where are you taking us, bro?
farm girl.
Farm girl, that's the one. Let's go.
Bet you're looking for something new. I feel the heat with you staring up across the room.
All right, guys, today we are here with Iman, this legend right here. It was actually super cool to meet you, bro. Like, I'd actually reached out on Instagram, just on my story saying, hey guys, I'm gonna be in London. If there's anybody that you guys find influential that I should have on my show, just reach out and let me know who you thought. And I actually got like multiple DMs from people like, yo, you gotta check out this dude Iman. I'm like, who the fuck is this Iman guy? So I decided to check it out. I was like, holy shit, this kid's only 18 years old. You know, you're running your social media agency. You got another product coming out called Influencer Ignited, if it's not already out.
Or the 2.0 version of it.
Yeah. And you're a high school dropout, bro, just killing it. You're living in a really nice place here in London. So it's super cool. So I just kind of want to rewind back before all this started, you know, kind of where you're from and what your upbringing is. I know I asked you like where you're from because I thought when I was gonna meet you that you're gonna have like an English accent, and I was like, this guy's American or something. Yeah. And then you're like, you ever seen Borat? You're like from the same spot as Borat. So tell me about like kind of what your upbringing was like prior to all this, how your upbringing shaped to where you are now.
Yeah. So I think I had like the best upbringing I could ever have, despite a lot of pretty shit things happening in my life. Yeah. It was always in front of me, but it was never mine. And that'll make sense as I go further down the story. So you watch the UFC fight, right? Yeah. You know, Khabib? Mm-hmm. So he's like, where he's from is like my biological father's bloodline.
Oh, really?
You seen the like video of him like fighting a bear and shit like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like actually where I'm from. Like no, I shit, you know, like that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
Yeah, my real dad, my biological father, he was alcoholic abusive. So I met him once when I was like 9, but he wasn't in the picture basically. So it was just like my mom, she was like 23 or 4, single mom, and my grandma took care of me.
Yeah.
So again, like, yeah, my mom was like, you'll find out, like my mom was like literally like my like pride and joy. So
yeah, so you're a mama's boy, but like
I'm 100%
in a good way that like, you know.
100% a mama's boy. My mom was working like 3-4 jobs. She was like 23, 24. We're in this like village, small city town. There's no opportunity, right? So then my mom goes to Moscow for a meeting, right? She's trying to like start up her business and stuff like that. She starts like a caviar business, right? Because she's like, fuck, like we live right by the Caspian Sea.
There you go.
Why not, right? And then she ends up meeting my stepfather. So, she ends up meeting my stepfather, and my stepfather lives in London, right? And my stepfather lives in London. They start dating and whatnot, and eventually she comes over to London, right? All good. It's getting more serious, but her little 3-year-old child is still in Russia, in a place called Dagestan.
And that's baby Iman.
That's baby Iman, basically. It's this guy.
Yeah.
So my mom, her and my stepfather get more serious, and like he basically brings us over. And my stepfather was wealthy, right? And we come from like literally my grandma's home, like where I grew up, like there's no toilet. It's you go out back into the garden, and then we have like chicken, like hen den, and we have like all the plants and the cucumbers and the tomatoes and growing all that shit. And then you go there and it's just like a hole. Yeah. So it's like a little barn.
That's
and
some like real camping.
Yeah. And then you like pour the water so the shit stains aren't there. That's where I'm from. So I come from like nothing, and that's why that's where my mom came from. You know, she grew up in a family of 7, second youngest of 7 in the Soviet Union. So she comes over to London, and we come over, and my stepfather's quite wealthy. So it's like this fucking fairy tale. Yeah. Like this little Russian village boy and her mom, who have already been through so much shit, you know, like have already just seen things and like experienced things that really like no one should go through. We come to London, and my stepfather puts me in private school. And it's like, dude, I mean, like, it's a fucking fairy tale, right? It's like,
how do I even get here? What just happened?
Like I'm in this big city. I'm like he puts me in private school, all this stuff.
How old were you when you guys arrived in London?
Then I was 3. Yeah. And it's like, it's amazing, right? Except it wasn't. Yeah. It was meant to be a fairy tale. It wasn't. You know, so that kind of goes on, and like, you know, around 7A, like the chinks in the armor start to show, and like things start to break apart. And, you know, by the time I was 8, 9, I know more, or I've seen things that like most 20-year-olds haven't seen in the house and in my family. It was I had to grow up. I grew up way too quick. Which I sometimes I wish I kind of had my childhood back. Yeah. But it's why I'm here. Yeah. So, I can't fault it.
Yeah, I know you had an Instagram post that mentioned a lot of things about kind of like a disownment or abandonment from your stepdad, and also kind of the struggle that teens or just people growing up face of trying to balance doing what they want to do and what their parents expect from them or what they want to do. So what was kind of your struggle with that? So, I mean,
that's the thing. That's why I'm so lucky, you know. By the time I genuinely knew by the time I was 9 or 10, I'm like, I have to be the man. Yeah. Like, because I knew, you know, by the time like I was, and I can't talk in full detail about it because the divorce is going on now. You know, but like, you know, by the time I was 9, 10, I basically knew we were fucked. Like royally, royally fucked. And we were, you know, at that point, like their marriage basically, it kind of ended when I was like 12-ish. Like things were just kind of like fizzling out, and like it wasn't nice. And by the time, you know, I was like 13, 14, it's like my mom is like going through a really rough time. She's been through all sorts of, you know, from her first, and if you ever met my mom, like I always put my mom on my stories. She's like a beautiful woman, like upbeat, like she's just a baller. Yeah. My mom's a pimp, like honestly, like, you know, killing it. She's killing it. And, you know, by the time she's like when I was like 14, 15, 16, I saw her go through what she probably won't admit it, but I saw as depression. She just wouldn't leave her room for like a couple of years. Like I never saw her leave her room. And yeah, as I said, by the time I was 14, I had to take care of myself. By the time I was like 16, end of 16, 17, I had to take care of me and my mom. And I just knew, like, I knew it was coming up. Yeah. You know, so when I was 14, I'm like, okay, fuck, like my time's coming up. Like I'm have to be the man. Yeah. You know, so, I started, you know, my first like sort of business was flipping Instagram accounts. Yeah. You know, I'd buy an Instagram account, I'd change the niche up a little bit, I'd sell some it was kind of like buying a property. Yeah. I'd buy a property, the Instagram account, I'd rent.
I remember that was going on a lot years ago. Yeah. You know, when I was also, people were offering me their Instagram accounts all the time. Like, hey, we have this travel account with 200,000 followers. Are you interested in buying it? So. Yeah,
exactly. So, you know, it was like, the Instagram would be like the rental or the house. I'd buy the house, buy the Instagram account. I'd rent it out, aka I'd sell like promotions on there. Or I'd flip the house first, as in like I'd flip the Instagram account to like change it, like say if it was like a strictly like Porsche Instagram account, I'd change it to like luxury niche. So that way I could sell like to watch companies and like sell like, you know, and then I'd sell it on for profit. So that was like my first little business, and it got like pretty saturated. And then from there I'm like, for me, it was always like, what can I learn and then sell to someone?
Mm-hmm.
So then I started like reading up like personal training manuals and stuff like that. And honestly, like, I don't know how like my friends' parents didn't get so fucking pissed at me, because I would just be at the dinner table and I'd be like trying to sell their parents on personal training. And I'm like 15 at the time as well. Like,
that takes a lot of confidence and balls to be able to do that. So like, I know, I think initially also you were trying to be a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And have a course on that, or was that just
no? I was just
clients, or?
No, so I was just trying to get like clients and I'd be selling my personal training for like 25 pounds an hour, anything I could get. And then from there, that just kind of didn't really work out. So I'm like, okay, fuck, what's the next big thing that I can like? For me, it's always just been, what's a skill I can learn and then sell? Like, I believe in like the service-based business model.
Yeah.
So then it's like video. It's like, well, what's something I can sell where my age doesn't matter?
Yeah.
And I was like 16, so it's like, okay, let's scrape together all the fucking money I have and let's buy a camera. And then let's like learn this thing and sell photo and video services to people. And then that's what I did, right? And then it got to a point where like late when I was like 16, or I was still at the football club at that point, football club, soccer. And
so you're talking soccer here.
Soccer, we're
just
talking
for
soccer.
the American audience here, yes.
Yeah. So, and I was basically just telling them like how bad their social media was. Because I had experience managing like Instagram accounts, stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, your social media is terrible. They're like, hey, can you manage, like, could you do our social media stuff for us? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then they're like, and how much would it be? And I'm like, I'm like, well, you can charge for this?
All right.
I was like, so that was my first client ever.
Yeah.
You want to know how much?
How much?
75 pounds a week.
Yeah, there you go.
So 300 pounds a month. And I did every month, 300 pounds a month. And I did 4 YouTube videos, 30 Instagram posts, and 30 Facebook posts.
Yeah.
And I thought I was bawling, right?
Yeah, I mean, so you're what, 16?
I was 16. Right?
Yeah, so I mean, that's
like
not bad. I had for the time amount.
Yeah, I had the Instagram account sort of business, which did better. And I made way more money in that. But to me, it was like, wait, I'm getting paid a monthly like retainer. Like this is, and then it just kind of carried on. And then from there, I kind of learned that was like a thing. Yeah. Right. And I learned it was a thing, and I also learned it was a thing where like my age didn't matter. And I was like, fuck. So then from there, I just kept pushing it, right? And I started to build an agency. What I called an agency, right? AKA I used, I started offering services to people, right? These retainers, right? Where there's a certain amount of deliverables for a fixed price monthly. I remember my first big client was a company called Athlete. 1.9K a month pounds, which was I think like $2,500. Yeah. And I remember I was still in school at this point.
Yeah, so you're still in high school.
I'm still in high
16,
school. 17 at this point. And I was like, and I literally remember like running in, like I took the call outside. I ran inside. My best friend Filippo, like, I'm like, Filippo, I just signed a 2K a month client. Bro, we're going out for dinner tonight. It's on me. Like, like all this shit. And I was just dude. I was so fucking excited. And I'm guessing you also want me to tell you the story of how I dropped out.
Yeah, like that's another thing. Like, so at what point, so like for me, I dropped out in college. And it's crazy just to hear stories about people dropping out in high school because there's so much more opportunity because the age doesn't matter if you have skills. But for me, I had been, working on it for a couple of years, and then I kind of basically got proof of concept that it was working, and then I dropped out. So at what point did you know that you were going to drop out of college?
Super high school. Super important. School, you said that proof of concept thing because basically the reason, the way I decided was I had a shoot in Holland. Right, and I had a shoot in Holland, like a one-off video shoot, and I think they paid me 600 pounds or something, plus my flights. And flight to Holland from London is like £100 return. But I was like, I remember I was sitting on the window seat, and I was looking out, and I was just like, I'm getting paid to travel.
And how old? Like,
I was just turned 17 at the time, and I'm like, this is the most incredible fucking feeling in the world, and like, I want to do this, right? Like as in like, I want to like travel and make money, and I want to like be like, just that freedom, or just that sense of like, I'm doing something, like I'm making something of my life. Like that was just, it was incredible for me. So I'm like, okay, that's awesome. I'm sitting in this feeling. How do I like, what's the plan of action from here? So I'm like, okay, awesome. So I know this retainer thing works because I've done it once. how about this? Let's find out what my monthly overhead is, including rent, because I wasn't paying rent at that time. I was still at home with my mom. And it came out to 3,000 pounds a month, right? And I like overshot it as well. Like I wanted to be safe. And I'm like, okay, if I can get 3 months of overhead, or sorry, 4 months of overhead in either lump sum, written contract, or like deposit, and I can do that in the next 8 weeks, then I'm gonna drop out of high school. And I did in 2.5.
So basically set a goal.
I said if I can hit this number by this date, then this happens.
Yeah.
Right? As in like similar to you, if I can get proof of concept, like if I can validate that this works and I can have some sort of security in the sense that like I get someone to pay for a deposit or I get someone a written contract or lump sum, whatever it may be. And if I can do that in that time frame, then I'm going to drop out. And I did in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And
this.
And then
oh shit.
And then I'm like,
sorry, mom. That's another question I had. What was your mom's reaction? Because a lot of people are always like, oh, I'm going to school for my parents. Like people are always, the first question when you say you drop out of school are like, oh, what did your parents think? Like, are they okay with that? So like, what was kind of the reaction with your mom once you let her know that you're gonna actually drop out?
So you need to keep in mind that my mom, for her, I don't think it was so much about dropping out. I think it was more of like a loss of identity.
Yeah.
You know, so my mom came from this tiny village in Russia and she brought us over to London, this big city, and she stayed in a marriage. There were things that happened in that marriage that guy did that like no one should go through that.
Yeah.
And she stayed in that marriage, not for her, right? Not for like him. She stayed in there for me because she knew that like, you know, Iman needs to get this private school education, right? And like my dad, you know, my stepdad, I call my stepdad my dad because like he's the only dad I've ever had. Really. Yeah. He cut her off a long time ago. It's not like, you know, like it's not like we were like we were living well. Like it was constant stress of money all the fucking time. But I was still going to private school.
Yeah.
It was like I had a Rolls Royce, but we couldn't afford petrol.
Yeah.
You know. So for her, it was more like a loss of identity, where it's like everything I've worked for and all the pain I've gone through, he's just throwing it away.
Yeah.
Right. But I guess for me, you know, the reason I'm so lucky is because I was in the right environment. You know, because I always think like I think if you succeed, you need to have some sort of pressure on you, right? Because I say this all the time. Like people do things out of inspiration or desperation. I didn't build my business out of inspiration. I didn't think, fuck, I want to become the best version of me or whatever. I'm just like, me and my mom are fucked.
Yeah.
Like,
I gotta do something.
I'd come home and like, I'd just be like, oh, I gotta do something. I'm like, I don't care if I'm 14, 15, 16. I gotta do something.
Yeah.
Right? So I did it out of desperation, not inspiration. Right? But as I said, I'm lucky because like I had the right amount of, I think any more pressure or if I'd seen any more than I'd seen and gone through any more emotional like trauma that I went through, like I'd be smoking crack.
Yeah.
Like I think like I would genuinely, and I'm genuine, like I mean this seriously. Like if someone goes through too much shit growing up, I think it can ruin them. I think it can break them, especially at that.
We kind of talked about that today at breakfast. Like we were talking about homeless people. You'll see like a lot of those people are there for some sort of reason. Yeah. And something happened in their life that led them down that path.
You don't know what exactly. You don't know what they've been through. Yeah. It's easy to judge.
Yeah.
So and that's what I'm saying. Like I know I could have. I know I could have come like so close to this not being an interview and us sitting here in like my beautiful London apartment and like, you know, having this business and stuff. Like I know I could very well be in a crack house right now.
Yeah.
And I don't say that to like exaggerate. I just know that like if someone gets at an early age pushed too far to the limit, they can break. And luckily I think I was just before that limit. Yeah. And I also know if someone gets pampered way too much when they're young, like there's no fucking way. Like it's very hard to succeed because there's no like natural drive and instinct in you.
You get hand fed too much.
Exactly. So keep in mind, I was going to a private school where like kids were like coming from like billionaires background, celebrities, shit like that. And I'd see them and I'd see all this opportunity and it was all in front of me. And then I'd come back home and it's just like nothing. Yeah. You know? So I had that right mix. Like I always knew that it was possible. I never thought that like the rich were like some like Illuminati or like the rich would like steal from the poor. Like I had the right money mindset, but I also had the right determination and drive to actually go get it.
Yeah, dude, that's just like an inspirational story just to hear that. Like there's, like I never really heard of a high school dropout story.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not too many.
Yeah, it's definitely like a unique thing. And I think that's something that's going to become more and more common, just the way that the state of economy is going. I just made a video last week about why you should or shouldn't go to college.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, there is no reason to go to college. And like present day, where are you at with your agency Six Figure MMA? And it's a informational product, right?
Yeah.
That you're selling that basically teaches people exactly how you've built what you built for yourself using social media.
Yeah.
So you obviously had clients while in high school for 2,000 to 3,000 pounds per month.
Yeah.
Like, where are you at now, and what was kind of the biggest contributing factors to getting that growth and scaling it?
Yeah. So this month, this month is in October, my agency will do around $60,000.
Yeah.
Recently, obviously, I was in New York last week, had a consulting gig with a company called Motivate Design. That was cool because that was like $20,000 for like 2 days.
Yeah, I watched your vlog just the other day.
Yeah. Where I'm at with my agency right now, this month it'll do $60,000 profit. That is because, I mean, my expenses are tiny.
Yeah.
And then overall last month, so that'll be this month for the agency. Overall last month between the businesses, between the training business. So basically I have my marketing agency, and then as you said, I have a training business, right?
Yeah.
Where I teach people how to build their own marketing agencies. And overall between all the businesses last month, I did 157K profit. Dollars, that is.
That's fucking insane, dude. And you're 18 years old. Like, it's fucking bananas. That's fucking sick.
So yeah, let me kind of just tell you about the businesses, how they came about. So with the marketing agency, as you know, I started with this like video photo, and then I realized like, shit, you can charge like a monthly retainer for these certain like services or for these like deliverables. And it was awesome. Some of my early clients were, as I said, Athlete, Zebra Fuel, Furo Systems. I charge them anywhere from 1,500 to 2,500 pounds per month. And there was like a certain amount of deliverables. It was awesome. Except month 4 or 5, they'd be like, Iman, this is awesome, blah, blah. And keep in mind, these companies have gone like 3-4 million in seed funding, right? Or like they have a good amount of like reserve money.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're cash strapped or whatever. They'd be like, Iman, this is awesome. You're growing our social platforms. Our brand and our social is more congruent to the size of our business now and like the size that we want to get it to. So where's the ROI? And I'd be like, no. I'd be like, I don't know. Like, and I'd be like, guys, you're advertising on buses, on red buses. What do you really think is bringing a higher ROI? My 2.5K a month retainer or like your red bus ads?
Yeah.
Right? But the thing is like, they just wouldn't like, it was causing so much stress and friction in my life, Like I want my business to like feel effortless. I want there to be like smooth systems and processes in it. I want it to be like for example, with my clients now, when they come to me and they're like, what's the ROI? I'm like, this. And they can't fight it. It doesn't matter if they're having a bad day. It doesn't matter if they hate me. It doesn't matter what happens. I can be like this.
Yeah.
Right? And I've put those systems in place. I'll explain the transition. So from there, I'm like, fuck. I gotta learn ads, right? And I gotta learn how to run Facebook ads, or you could also do Google AdWords. But for me, it was Facebook ads.
Yeah.
I gotta learn how to run Facebook ads for my clients. So what did I do? I picked up every single course out there. I got some coaching, because keep in mind at that point, I was still doing 15K a month with my agency.
Yeah.
So in the space of 45 days, I scaled my agency from like one client at like 1K it was still the football club. So like $400 or something like that, to $15,000 in the space of 45 days.
Yeah.
Right. I signed Athlete, Zebra Fuel, Furo Systems, and this other like personal trainer for 1,500 pounds a month. So I scaled it pretty quick. So keep in mind at that point, like I had some extra money and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy the courses. I'm gonna buy some, get some coaches time. And I'm gonna learn this Facebook ads thing. I thought it'd be okay, awesome. I'll learn it for a month, and then now I can start selling it to my clients.
Yeah.
And this is one of the issues I see with my space, with people teaching. It's like you wouldn't teach someone how to become, like people don't think about it logically. They don't use common fucking sense in my space. Like you wouldn't teach someone how to do videography for a month and then tell them, hey, now you can go charge 3K per shoot. Yeah. It's just not realistic, is it? To learn something like videography, photography,
you gotta be an expert in the field.
Or you gotta at least have like 6 to 12 months of like real like time in. And this is some of the issues I see with people trying to teach like email marketing or Facebook ads or like, and trying to teach people like learn this service and then sell it, right? It can work, but I know for me personally, I lost all 4 of my first clients. Yeah. And I burned bridges, right? Because it's hard. Like learning Facebook ads is like any other fucking skill. You can't just learn it in a month. There's no like quick hack or secret or thing, right? There's systems you can put in place. Yeah. So at that point, I'm like, fuck, this is not working out. And then one day I heard about, this is coming towards the end of 2017, I heard about Expedia's revenue, right? And I forget where it was. I was reading an article, and they were basically like, hey, Expedia made $10 billion last year. $10.06 billion.
That's a lot of dough.
That's a lot of fucking cash. And the best part is Expedia doesn't own any airplanes, right? It doesn't know how to have like bomb-ass in-flight food. It doesn't know how to have great customer service at the hotel, how to have awesome pools, feng shui, none of that shit. All Expedia knows how to do is have a website and drive traffic to it. So all Expedia does is it connects a customer or a client with a service. And you want to know the best part? Expedia makes way more fucking money than airlines.
Yeah.
I forget where I heard this, but there's a saying, like the easiest way to become a millionaire is to be a billionaire and buy an airline like company.
Yeah.
You know, because like, they don't make any money.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, so while you could either build a hotel and put all this fucking work in and do all this shit and have all these moving parts, or you could just be Expedia, do less work and make more money.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't believe in like get rich quick. Like I work hard, you know, like I believe in having like a solid work ethic, right?
Yeah.
Like that, my roots come from there, right? So I don't believe in this like 1 hour work 1 hour fucking a day.
It
and,
doesn't
like,
work.
It's just like guys like fuck off.
Yeah.
You know? That said, like I do want to become financially independent. Like I wanted to become financially independent. I wanted to do it quick, right? I didn't want to wait 10 years to be making like 10K a month. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, can I do it in 3 months? And can I do it like realistically without some weird like trick or hack or fucking anything like that? So, you know, back to my point with Expedia, I'm like, this is genius. Why don't I use this in my business?
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's look at the Expedia formula. Take a customer or client, connect it with the service, like the actual like person delivering the service, the goods, whatever, and just be the middleman. And fuck, that's what Uber does. That's what Airbnb does.
That's what everything
I'm like,
does.
that's what the smartest people who scale quick do. I'm like, so right now I'm the service, and like, you know, we've got the client customer. There's no like, it's just this. Why don't I become that middleman? So I'm like, why am I spending all this time learning Facebook ads and all this other shit and doing it myself? Why don't I just get someone else to deliver the services for me? So I started using what I like to call the Expedia business model, right?
Yeah.
You get a contractor, and this is when you first start.
Yeah.
Right? This is when you now keep in mind, at this point, I'm fucking killer at ads.
Yeah.
Right? I'm killer at ads, I'm killer at ad copy, but that's because I want to be, right? That's not because I needed to grow my agency, right? So I'm like, let's use this Expedia business model where I get a high quality contractor. Don't call them a contractor, they're a team member, you know? Because this team member now, like for example, I have a full-time employee, like he works full-time. So he's there, but before he used to be a team member, right? And like he would chat with my clients, he would chat with me. Like I would at a high level look at everything, make sure that everything was going well. And like people ask me all the time, they're like, hey, why don't you, like if your clients know that you've got a contractor, for example, scaling the ads or doing this or that, like why would they not just go to the contractor?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's the same reason when you're going through, you know, when you're getting an apartment, you go through Airbnb, or when you're getting into Uber, you wouldn't get into some random person's car, but you would do it if it was an Uber driver.
Yeah.
Why? Because Uber knows how to run a fucking business.
And it's branding
Yeah.
as well.
Branding, the image, and also like with Uber, you know it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Right? You know it's gonna work because they have systems, right? They have systems, they understand operations. And it's the same thing with my agency. You know, when someone tells me that, I'm like, yeah, they could go to a contractor, but a contractor doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
A contractor doesn't know how to have a business.
Doesn't know how to get the leads, get the clients, all that stuff.
They don't know how to run operations.
Yeah.
Right? They don't know what to do when it comes to invoicing, when it comes to client management, when it comes to like having like all of this, like bundling it up and making sure it doesn't blow up. Right? So that's what I kind of tell people when they ask me that.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was really like a kind of like a shift in my business. So I'm like, so then I started learning Facebook ads or not learning Facebook ads, getting this guy to do my Facebook ads, and I charge clients, you know, I'd have the contractor, it'd be anywhere between $750 and $1,000 a month. He charged me per client per month. And I'd sell those services for like $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $12,000.
Yeah.
And like, he knew how much I was making.
You're a contractor guy.
Yeah. Openly, I'm like, dude, how much would you be comfortable like charging, or like what fee would you be happy with? And he told me a fee, and I'm like, awesome. And then I added 25%, and I'm like, this is what I'm giving you per client. And I just want you to know I'm going to be charging these numbers.
Yeah.
And he's happy because I'm bringing him a slew of
Just consistency.
consistent leads, right? And he knows that with me, these clients stay forever, basically.
Yeah.
Right. And then now, luckily, he works with me like full time, and it's awesome. That's kind of like, that's where my agency kind of like took a shift.
Yeah.
You're using this Expedia business
When you
model.
started delegating.
Yeah, where I started learning like, fuck, it's not, like you're not really an agency if you're just one person.
Yeah.
That's not an agency. You know, you gotta have these like team members in place and you gotta use arbitrage. Like once I learned the Expedia business model, like everything just kind of changed.
Yeah.
Right? And then I've grown it to the point where now that was one shift, and then the other shift was like really like honing in on my niche and becoming an expert in my niche and how to get results for my clients. And now at this point, you know.
So what would you consider your niche actually being?
So my niche is e-com. So for example, this morning you saw that Oura ring I was wearing. They're just about to sign this week. I've got like other like e-com businesses. I've got a swimwear company, and then so I've got those e-com businesses, and then I also have training businesses.
Yeah.
Right. So as in like businesses that sell informational products, events, stuff like that. Right. So it's very like everything flows together.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my marketing agency, and it's awesome. This month it's going to do around $60,000 profit, which is dope.
That's brilliant.
Which is dope. Also keeping in mind that like I don't have to do the service delivery.
Yeah.
Right. Like for example, with my clients, I write the ad copy, but that's just because I love writing.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's pretty important. You got to have good ad copy to sell.
But my point is, my employee, like who used to be a contractor for a while, now he's an employee. He can do it.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of stupid that I even write the ad copy at this point, because like he's great at it. I just love doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is my agency. Brass tacks of it. And then
we went deep down the rabbit hole.
And then so in terms of the training business, that kind of came about because people asked me, they're like, dude, what are you like? Because I left school.
Yeah.
They're like, are you dealing drugs or something like that?
Like, what's going on with this kid?
What exactly are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this whole social media marketing thing. And they're like, okay, could you like teach it to me? And at that point, I wasn't offering consulting services with my agency. So I'm like, yeah, sure. And once again, it was kind of like that situation with that first client I ever had, where I was like, yeah, sure. And then they're like, and how much would that be? And I'm like, you can charge for this?
Yeah, and it just kind of snowballed into
another
thing, because a lot of people just want to know, like, all right, he's doing well for himself. How is he doing that?
So it was the same thing. So before I could be like, yeah, sure, like when do you want to do it? Because I've always just been like, as you can tell, I'm quite talkative when I start talking about like what I'm passionate about. So I'll help anyone, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, how much? And I'm like,
ding.
100 an hour? I was like, I don't know. Like, you know?
Yeah, you just got to start and see what happens. Then you got to start somewhere and scale it up from there.
And then from there, I started coaching people and stuff like that. And then it got to a point where it was taking up too much of my time. So I'm like, okay, how can I just like duplicate myself?
Yeah.
And then that's when I came out with my program, 6-Figure SMA, which launched February, like 1st of February or something like that this month. Or this year.
Yeah. So you literally just started your info product in 2018.
Yeah, I started my training business this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
what do you think you're enjoying more, the agency or the SMMA?
This is the issue. This is the issue. I love both.
Yeah.
Right. And here's the issue. I was talking to a very, very successful person in our space. He's in the training business and stuff like that, and he's doing a couple million a month. Very, very well. And he was basically telling me, he's like, Iman, you gotta drop your agency.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I understood the logic behind it, right? Because he's like, Iman, you don't need to prove this to people anymore. It's quite clear. Because to be honest, with my agency, I do $60K a month.
Yeah.
I work maybe like 4 hours a week or something like that.
Yeah.
I have an employee who manages it. Without me, the thing would break.
Yeah.
Right? Because I have spent so much money on ads, and this is my niche. Like I have everything to a T, and I've systemized and automized everything. So he's basically like, man, you got to drop your agency and just scale your training business and help more people. Because he's like, by you having an agency and constantly feeling as though like you have to prove yourself, you're actually hindering the people that you need to help by not being able to spend as much time with them. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, but I fucking love agency.
Yeah.
You know, like that feeling, like for example, in New York, like the feeling when you go into someone's office and like this is a company that does like near 8 figures a year revenue, and you're there and there's a chief of marketing, there's a CEO, and then there's an 18-year-old kid, and they're paying me $20,000 for 2 days to basically like shout at them and tell them how they're idiots. Yeah. You know, like I love, like to me that's like fucking crazy.
Yeah. So how did that deal actually come about? This is one that we were talking about in your blog that you just did. It's a $20,000 2-day training from you personally, and you go actually and coach their team.
Yeah, it was in New York. Yeah.
So how did that lead get generated?
So that lead basically got generated. It's a company called Motivate Design. They came from one of my other clients, AJ Smart. So AJ Smart, I helped them launch their program in May. They brought me over for a 2-day training as well. Yeah. And I built their webinar for them. And then I also did all their ads, right? Mm-hmm. So my agency runs their ads. So since June we launched it. They've done like 400,000 euros profit or something like that.
Yeah.
And like I can confidently say that I've made them hundreds of thousands of euros because I built the webinar, like I built the funnel.
Yeah.
And my agency runs the ads for them. You know, so obviously the owner, Jonathan, was very, very pleased with me. So
word of mouth marketing, basically.
Word of mouth,
yeah.
right. But when I first got started, the way I got most of my clients, cold email, cold Instagram DM, which people still find ridiculous.
It's where I reach out to everybody, and most people respond.
Yeah,
surprisingly,
like, you'd be
people
surprised.
read DMs.
You'd be surprised. So I'd give them like a little like audit, like I do like a video DM, and I do like maybe like 4 video DMs, and then I'd be like, hey, look, it's quite clear you're leaving a lot of money on the table here. Can we just meet up for a quick 15-minute coffee? If worst comes to worst, you get a free consultation out of it. But seriously, I really think I could help your business.
Yeah. Boom.
Pretty much most people will say no, but you only need a couple.
Yeah.
You only need a couple, and that's the beautiful thing. You know, you only need a couple, and you only need to get like 3 or 4 to say yes. And you know, you're almost making a 6-figure income. You know, if you charge them $2K a month, which is super standard, that's on the lower end.
Yeah.
And you got 4 clients, you're making $8,000 a month. You only need to be making $8,300 a month to be making 6 figures a year.
Yeah.
And that's where my program 6-Figure SMA came about, right? Because as I said, I always believed in the service-based business model. I always believed in a business model where like you can sell something to someone and deliver the service, or in my case, like have a team that delivers a service, and they pay you good money for that, and you keep ridiculous profit margins.
Yeah.
You know, like one thing I don't know if you noticed, like I talk about profit. I talk about revenue. I could probably blow up my ego and talk about my revenue.
Yeah. You're talking about strict profit after expenses.
Yeah. But funnily enough, like my business is also so streamlined. My agency is like, it's 95% profit margin.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't have any real expenses.
Yeah, that's insane, dude. That's that's like, I was thinking about something recently about your life is your success is based on the infrastructure you build in your life. And that's how the best businesses are run as well. They have the proper infrastructure and systems to mostly automate things. Yeah. And that's how you come out with a good profit. So that's cool to hear that you figured that out. It's also at such a young age to make such a high profit margin.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. So anyways, dude, super cool to hear about how much success, which is just mind-blowing that you're doing this at such a young age. Also, guys, if you want to know more about your SMMA 6-figure social media marketing thing, let us know if you want to know a little bit more, and if you wanted us to do a part 2 and see actually you wanted to give away like a free module to
I mean, we were discussing that over breakfast. I mean, down below there will be a link to a free training. So it's a 9-minute free training, and then I'll kind of go over the Expedia business model. It'll go over how you can structure the sales process so that you like pretty much guarantee a close if someone's in front of you. And it'll also just go over the business model of social media marketing and just kind of how many clients you need to get to what point. So that free training is just gonna be down below. It's a 9-minute free training. And then this morning, Cameron was like, yo, dude, like, would you be down for giving away a free module? And I'm like, okay, like if the response is good enough, then like.
Yeah, I mean, I might even consider taking the free training. Like, I'm interested. I'm always interested in learning new things, and just to see your success at such a young age is definitely appealing and intriguing. Yeah. So, yeah, guys, if you want to check it out, definitely check out the link below. That's a wrap. Thanks so much for coming on the show, bro. Yeah. London, this place is great. You guys got to come check it out. Stay tuned for the next episode. See you later.
Fire when the strobe hits.